There we go. All right. Today we're going to talk about how to conduct a virtual open house with Synfone, and the web meeting and webinar features that we're going to be showing you today. Those are included with our Synfone Classic and Synfone Ultimate services. In today's demonstration, we're going to be using the webinar method, which is ideal for showing to a group of people and limiting their interaction with each other. There is also a web meeting format that you can be used that's a little more engaging for a one-to-one experience, or you can have multiple people on there, but we'll save that for another time. During today's video, we're going to walk through the process of setting up the virtual open house, how you invite your attendees, managing the controls during the virtual open house, and we're going to talk about a few tips and tricks along the way that hopefully will make you more productive in your opportunities to sell some houses. Let me grab my notes. The question comes up, why would I want a virtual open house? As we opened the meeting, I had a little video playing of somebody's house they had for sale. It was an older video, so if you're interested in buying that house, I'm sorry, it's not on the market currently. But there are a variety of tools available to real estate agents, and this isn't necessarily something that should replace other tools or avenues that you already use that are productive for you. This is something that you can add to your arsenal and hopefully allow you to close those deals safer and quicker. It does minimize in-person contact. Right now, we're all trying to be very health conscious with the COVID-19 outbreak and minimizing the physical contact we have with people. And as a real estate agent, you may or may not feel like that's something important to you, but to your potential buyers, it may be something that's very important to them. There may be some people out there that are ready to buy and ready to move on in their home process, but they're not ready to go on and have those in-person interactions or as many. So it can be a tool for that. This also can be used just in general to minimize personal risks. I know back when I was practicing real estate sales that it was recommended that you be careful about meeting with people on a one-on-one basis if you haven't already vetted those people, especially in a remote environment like an open house. So this can minimize those risks. It does give you an opportunity to screen or filter potential buyers in an interactive environment, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. And it gives potential buyers a chance to see available properties quicker. We know right now with the shortage of houses available on the market in most markets, things will come available, and by the time you can schedule a showing with your potential buyer, that may be under contract or already have something pending on it. So this gives you an opportunity to get it in front of your buyers a little quicker. So let's go ahead and step through the process, and I'll show you a few things that hopefully will show you how easy it is to use this and how productive you can be in having this. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see what I'm doing here. So you start out by opening your Synfone web client. And if you're already familiar with this, this is kind of your communications dashboard area. If you go right over here to the left side, you have the Schedule Conference tab. And once you select that, it gives you the option to look at existing meetings you have, which we have ours that's going on today, or we have this plus button to create a new meeting. So we're going to go ahead and hit that. And we would select the video, the type as video. Hopefully you're scheduling these a little in advance. When you choose between now and later, you don't have a certain amount of time later that it has to be. So you can go ahead and schedule those for later, even if it is just 5 minutes in the future or 10 minutes in the future, depending on how much setup time you have available for you. Sorry. You go ahead and select your time and date of your open house, your virtual open house, and the duration. The duration won't cut you off if you go over it. It's just to give your attendees an idea of what they should be expecting for the duration. I'll also go ahead and share a pro tip with you here that I've heard other people talk about. When you're scheduling these virtual open houses, if you have the time, go ahead and schedule a few of them about an hour apart to start at the top of each hour. So if you're going to be at the location from 12 to 3, maybe go ahead and schedule a virtual open house for 12 and 1 and maybe even 2. And that way, if somebody comes in a little bit late in your virtual open house and they've not caught the whole thing, you can invite them to join back in at the top of the hour when you're going to be starting again. And also, we're going to talk about the virtual open house on demand, where you can play back videos that you've done of this. So if you do a few of them at one time, you can then select which one had the best interaction with potential buyers and the questions that were asked, the things that were shared, and then select your best one for your virtual open house on demand later. So we'll go ahead and put in a subject here. Here you might want to put in the address of the open house, or any notes that'll go out in that email that invites your attendees. You can put them in here. I'm just going to put, here are some notes. And then you get to choose a web meeting profile. Like I said, today we're going to talk about the webinar. In a webinar format, you can see the participants, but the participants can't see each other's names or directly interact with each other, other than through your chat that you can watch and police a little bit to make sure things, not too much information is exchanged there. And then it's simple as just adding your participants by email. So you can go ahead and put in your participants' email addresses here and add them in. If you have a large list of people that you already know are interested in this property and want to participate in the virtual open house, you can import a CSV file, and there will be more helps on that if you decide you want to use that function. But after you get your participants added in there, you'll go ahead and hit the Create Meeting button. And now you have scheduled your virtual open house. It was that easy. Just a few clicks of a button, fill in just 2 or 3 fields. And now I have sent out the meeting invite to my attendees that I've added in there. Another nice thing is, as you're getting closer to that virtual open house, you can come back to the screen, schedule a conference, choose the option, and then add additional participants. So say somebody does stop in at your around 12:15 when you've already started in your open house, and you invite them to come back at the 1 o'clock virtual open house. You can come back in here and put their email address in as a participant, hit the plus sign, and it'll go ahead and send them that invite at that time, so they'll be able to join on when that time comes. And now you can go back. Now you're scheduled and ready to go. So the email invite has been sent out. We're going to take just a quick look at how that appears to your invitees or your attendees, your people that you've invited. So let me go ahead and jump over to that. Actually, you've already kind of seen this because you have received an invite to join today's webinar. So you've already kind of got a preview, but I want to just highlight a couple things in here quickly for you. It gives them the time and date, the subject that was used, and any notes that you included there. If they're joining from a computer, you can use Chrome or Firefox and just simply click the link. It does not require any sign up or sign in process, so it's very easy for your potential buyers to join into the meeting from a computer. They just click that link. If they would like to join from a smartphone, they can choose here to click to download the Android app or the iOS app. And then once they've installed the app, they can just come back here, click the link, and it joins them right in. So very easy for your participants to come in here. And then down here at the bottom, there's an additional link. You'll notice the link that it gives them to join for each attendee that is specific. And the reason is, when you guys joined our webinar today, even though it was just as simple for you just to click and it puts you right in here, it shows me who has joined because it used your personal link. So I can go back and say, oh, I know for sure that John Doe joined, even though he didn't put his name in, because he used that personal link that I sent him. The link down here below at the bottom, they can forward that on to additional participants if you'd like them to. And those people can click the link, and then you wouldn't get their name because it wouldn't be a personalized link. So that's just there. Wanted to share that with you. So that is the invite email. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like once we're in here. And I'm going to go ahead and show you my web meeting view that we have going on now. If you have anything personal you don't want shown in chat, please don't put it in there. So in here, this is your web meeting view. Once you have the web meeting going, I have my preview of what's my camera view is showing to you guys. and then also the screen share that I have going on so I can see what's being shown there. There's some basic controls here in the top. The important ones are your mute and your camera on and off, and then the record button, which I already hit the record button at the beginning, so we'll be able to share this with others. But that's how you're going to do the open house on demand feature, the virtual open house on demand feature, is you hit that record button, and then when we're done with this, I'll get an email inviting me to download with a link inviting me to download the video, and then I can post that on the website, upload it to YouTube, or distribute it to my contacts however I need to, so that they can come back and view this later on. So I'm going to show you here now. When we've done this as a webinar, it joins each person in silently. So you're all here watching, but I can't hear you and I can't see you. So you have the chat function that you can use if you're joined from a computer, where you can enter questions and things. But we know that a lot of potential buyers are going to be joining from mobile devices, and you want to make sure it's easy for them to ask you questions as well. So when you first join into the meeting, you have the option here to unmute participants, and you can announce at the beginning, hey, we're going to go ahead, or maybe you do your housekeeping, kind of go over the agenda for the open house, and then let everybody know, I'm going to go ahead and unmute your microphones now, so that if you have a question while we're going through this, you can go ahead and ask that question and you'll be able to interact with those people there. You can enable their video too, but I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you've cleared it with them first. If they're joined from a computer, it will pop up an option on there saying that you've asked to enable their camera and they have to allow it or disallow it, but you don't want to surprise anybody by clicking that button. And it also can be very distracting for your other potential buyers on there to have everybody visible to each other. So in this format, it would be better just to go through, unmute your participants, and then you can allow them to ask questions. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera, and I'm going to turn off my microphone as well. And then I am going to hand over control of this webinar to my alter ego here, which I have joined from my mobile device. So I'll be right back. I'm going to try not to get too much feedback going on here. This is really important. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my screen sharing so you can see me here. This is really important because a lot of your initial setup, a lot of the housekeeping things that you're going to go over at the beginning, you're going to want to do from your computer. And once you start walking around, it's going to be a lot easier to do that with your mobile device as opposed to having to walk around with your computer. So I do recommend, another pro tip here, have a friend. Have somebody come and help you when you're doing these webinars or doing these virtual open houses. And you can have somebody else sitting at the computer manning those controls once you switch off and go to your mobile device. So now you can go around and begin showing off the house to your prospective buyers. You get a quick glimpse at my home office here now that everybody's in a work from home environment. And now that we have control on your mobile device, I can have a friend sitting at the computer. So if somebody enters a chat question, they'll be able to answer that question for them, or they can bring it to my attention, and then I can try to answer the question for them. I will say, when you're doing these, especially if you're recording and planning on making these available later, another pro tip, you want to generate as many questions as you can, but you want to give as few answers as you can as well. Now, I'm getting into the real estate world there, and this outside of my area of expertise. So if you're an expert and say that's a really bad suggestion, Peter, feel free to put that in there and let me know. But the idea is you want to generate questions so that you're getting the interaction from those potential buyers. And if it's a direct question, hey, is that a toilet over there? You can aim your camera on and show them. But if it's a more complex question, you might want to tell them, hey, let me get with you afterwards. I'm going to contact you as soon as this webinar is over, or as soon as this virtual open house is over, and answer that question for you directly. It allows you to have a reason to have that one-on-one follow-up with them, but also those questions will appear, if they're read off or shown, to other people who watch this video in the future. And if they don't get the answer, Well, now they have to reach out to you to hear the answer to that question. They may not have thought to ask that question themselves, but now if they want to hear the answer, they're going to have to reach out to you to get the answer to that question. So another real cool tip here is if you have a helper and you have them join in from their mobile device. Now, today for our webinar, when people were first joining on, I had a video playing. But let's say I'm showing off a house that's got some really nice community amenities. What I can do is have them actually out at some of those community amenities. So maybe there's a community pool, or maybe there's a gated community. It's a gated community, and you want to show that off. You can actually start out by having one of your friends doing from their mobile device and actually showing those things on the outside of the house or in the community. And then once you're ready, you can actually take over. Or you can do it as an outro as well. So when you're done showing off the features inside the house, you could hand it off to somebody else who's outside the house and let them show off some features out there or in the community. One really neat thing I saw somebody else do is they actually set their phone up with a mount in their car and actually had somebody like driving down the street up to the house. It's a really nice community. I guess you want to be careful about whether or not it is if you do that. But they have the video going as they're driving up to the house to start the open house, and then switch views to the agent who is actually in the house to then begin the open house presentation, the virtual open house there. So just another pro tip that you might be able to use there. I'm going to go ahead and switch back because my arm's getting tired now. You do want to be conscious to not leave multiple devices unmuted at the same time close together, because what you'll end up doing is creating some really bad echoes, and you don't want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and out of there. So you know how to do the open house, so I'm not going to try to teach you that part of it. At this point, I'm just giving you the tools so that you can go through the process and do the virtual open house. When you get to the end, a couple quick things for you. First, before you end your video, your virtual open house, don't forget to sell. You want to ask for the sale, however method it is that you use and you're comfortable with that, just like you were at an open house with that potential buyer in front of you. I understand that you're probably not going to get a lot of buyers ready to make an offer at the end of a virtual open house without coming and putting feet in the property, but you might. And so don't leave that opportunity unused. Make some kind of call to action at the end of your virtual open house. Invite them to submit an offer if they're ready to, or invite them to reach out to you to schedule a one-on-one tour of the home in person. Whatever the case is, make sure you don't forget to sell. I know that sometimes when we get wrapped up in technology, we kind of get out of our normal routine. So speaking of, hey, if you're not already a Synfone customer, I'm going to throw a link right here into the chat. And you can go to www.synfone.net/RE for real estate. And on there is a landing page with a little bit more information about Synfone and the features that we offer besides just the webinar functionality. And there's information there if you want to reach out to us. We'd be happy to have somebody contact you. Now, once you end your video, and I'm not going to do that right yet because I don't want to forget to give you these final things here. Once you hit the end button, it'll give you the option to leave the meeting or to end the meeting. Please be sure, if you are the agent that's hosting this thing, end the meeting. If you just leave the meeting, you leave your participants in there together. Obviously, there's reasons you don't want to necessarily do that in most cases. So make sure you hit the end meeting button so that it logs everybody out and sends them on their merry little way. Also, after you hit that end meeting button, watch your inbox. You're going to get an email. In that email will be the link to download the recording, but it's also going to give you something else that's very valuable. Remember, we talked about having those personalized links so that when somebody joins, it shows you who's joined. Well, in that email you'll get, it will actually show you who has joined and how long they were actually joined into your virtual open house. So maybe Bob, or potential buyer one here, was joined for 10 minutes and left, and your virtual open house lasted 30 minutes. Well, now you have a reason to reach out to Bob. Hey, I saw that you joined in for a few minutes, but you didn't get to see the very end, and I wanted to know if you want to schedule a time to look at those features. Or you might see that potential buyer number 2 was present for the entire 30-minute virtual open house. Hey, if they stuck around for 30 minutes, like you guys have stuck around for just about 30 minutes now, there's obviously some level of interest there. So now you have a reason to reach out to them. Hey, I wanted to get your feedback. How did you like the virtual open house? Was there any questions that you didn't get answered? And you get that opportunity. Now, I'll tell you, one of my favorite things that you have with the Synfone platform, today we're talking about the webinar feature, but you can also do one-to-one meetings with video. So when you reach back out to those potential buyers, they're already familiar with how to click the link to join into your meeting. So what you can do is go back in there and invite them to a one-to-one, a one-on-one meeting, video conference, where you can actually see each other and interact with each other. Gives you the opportunity to look for facial cues when you're talking about different aspects of the home. Gives you the opportunity, gets them familiar with you. They can see you while you're talking to them, and you can see them. So some great use tools there. If you'd like to learn more about that, please let us know, and we'll be happy to help you. If you have questions, you can call us at 877-316-7290, and a representative will be happy to discuss the options with you. Maybe you saw this video and you say, man, I have a couple questions. Well, you can feel free to throw them in chat. Or if you want to, I didn't mention this. I forgot to mention this. In the chat section down there, there's a little hand. If you hover over it, it says react. This is if you're joining from your computer. You can click that. And there's some pre-populated messages you can throw there. So you can say, hey, I have an idea, or, I'm raising my hand. I want you to call on me. And then you can unmute those participants and answer those questions for them. So if you have a question, feel free to click that or type it in there in the chat. Be happy to answer that, or feel free to contact me directly. You should all have my email as your invite came from there. And again, if you go to www.synfone.net/RE, it's got a little more information there and a form you can submit to have somebody reach out to you and do a consultation to see how Synfone can help your real estate office. Thanks again for joining today. Hope you all have a great and productive rest of your Thursday, and we will talk to you all soon.